Hi there. Logiak's a no-code system builder, and Supabase is a collection of backend services. And we've made it so that you can use Supabase to provide a backend for Logiak-created applications. Alternatively, maybe you have already a database in Supabase and you want to use Logiak to create an app or system with which your users can view, modify, manipulate the data in your database. So in this video, we will look at a Logiak created app working with Supabase, and then we will indicate how this integration comes about. Here's a Supabase project we've already configured. The first service we use is authentication. We log in, and that's checking the Supabase user database to see whether we're a real user and giving us an access token. Second service is database. We can record a new patient on the mobile device. It gets stored in the local database. And then if there's connectivity as an authenticated user, we can synchronize our record back to Supabase. The third service we use is real-time. This is an exciting one. We can make a change to the record here in Supabase and immediately it's reflected on the mobile device. This real-time functionality requires that replication is turned on. We can demonstrate this replication real-time functionality again by deleting the record from within Supabase, and it immediately gets deleted on the mobile device, the connected devices. Now we can look at the same Logiak application running in a web browser. So we make cross-platform apps. And we can also create a record here that talks directly with Supabase, and of course the same thing happens. Replication ensures that as soon as that record has been created in Supabase, the mobile device gets informed. Replication is important for us because we support the creation of systems comprising multiple role-based apps providing different functionality but operating with the same database. In order to make such data sharing a practical reality, however, where users want to use such data sharing, they really need to add a modified field to each object so that we can perform a login time check on the synchronization status of each table. Now back to the integration itself. So here's a Logiak project. A Logiak project has a set of functions which allow you to create and modify applications, and a set of functions which you need between development cycles. One is that you need to version the project, and another one is that you need to be able to deploy versions. So a project can have one or more deployments defined. To define a deployment is to do a one-time configuration of a backend and then periodically support the deployment of versions. Now in the case of Supabase, the one-time configuration is actually very straightforward. You create a Supabase project and basically you have a step-by-step sequence of instructions about copying parameters from Supabase project into Logiak and one parameter from Logiak into Supabase. And then that's it. And then at the end, you get informed about the tabs supporting the cyclical deployment of versions. One of the central features of integration has not yet been addressed. How do the domain tables defined in Logiak get created in Supabase? Well, that's the first tab here in the deployment after setup, and it's there because, of course, as versions change, object definitions can change, and the Supabase tables need to be changed. So the user in this tab can select a version he or she wants to deploy and get Logiak to retrieve the schema from Supabase and check for the correspondence and correct any missing fields, missing tables, and so forth. The last thing to note about this integration is that Logiak supports remote deployment of new versions, and that's achieved with the Supabase integration with a system table called Logiak version, which gets an entry when we deploy a new version, and then replication ensures that the devices are able to notify the users via control that a new version is available, and the users can decide when to activate that.